I'm here in our gym today to talk a little bit about our church's new simulcast that we have going on in here, and what we call our cafe service, where people sit here in round tables and on a Sunday morning can watch our live service when our auditorium is a little full. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how this system works, how it's set up, a couple troubleshooting things to consider so that you can be prepared to run this on a Sunday morning. We're going to start in our auditorium because that's really where it all begins. So here in the auditorium, it starts right with our live stream system, because really what we're doing is we're just sending our live stream feed from this computer to our gym. And let me show you how exactly we do that. It all starts here in Live Stream Studio. So if you've run the live stream, you know this setup here. And really what we're doing is we're sending our stream, which is also going online, to an output. So you go to settings here in Live Stream Studio and you see this output setting. And you can see we are able to send an output to our Ultra Studio monitor 3G HDMI, and we're sending the program clean. So really this is what we're doing here in Live Stream Studio, and really this is the only setting you need to know about. Is you go to settings, outputs, Ultra Studio monitor 3G HDMI, program clean, make sure it's saved, and really on at least the computer's end, everything should be set and ready to go. So Live Stream Studio is outputting to this Ultra Studio monitor, and that is right here behind the iMac here. You can see Ultra Studio monitor 3G is connected through Thunderbolt, and you can see HDMI is coming out of it. So this is really the first hardware of our system. As it leaves the iMac, it goes to the Ultra Studio monitor. And from the Ultra Studio monitor, it goes through HDMI to an HDMI extender, which is down over here by where our camera normally is. I'm using the camera right now to record this, so it's not here, but it's down right here. The HDMI goes into this extender, and the extender converts it from HDMI to Cat6 cable. And we have the Cat6 cable running from here in the auditorium all the way into our gym. So now we're back in the gym, and we have the Cat6 cable, the Ethernet cable coming in on the wall, and it comes down right here. And it comes down onto this table, and down here we have our receiver for our HDMI extender. And you can see, like right now, it's not plugged in, so I'm gonna plug it in. Oftentimes it won't be plugged in when you come in, so you're gonna wanna make sure it's plugged in. And you'll see on here that you have the Ethernet coming in, you have the power, and then you have the HDMI coming out. And by the HDMI, you have a couple of lights. One is the status light and one is the power light. The power light should be red, the status light should be green. So right now, we know, at least on this piece of equipment, we are good to go. We're receiving signal from the transmitter of this extender, and now it is converting it back into HDMI and sending it to our laptop over here. So we come over here and we can see the HDMI cable right here. So this HDMI cable is coming from the extender, and it's plugged in to another Ultra Studio. This time this is a recorder which captures what's coming from the HDMI as a video input signal. So this is going to be plugged in here. And then we have our laptop, our MacBook. And I usually have it in this little case here. We're going to log on to this. So EBC Tech, I'm going to type in the password. So now that we are logged on, we're going to want to open ProPresenter, which is the main program we use for this setup here. You can see it opens up, and we have some welcome and announcement slides, and we also have our input. So that is going to be what's coming from our Ultra Studio recorder. So now we need to plug it in. So plug it into Thunderbolt port. And you can see here on Pro Presenter, we still have a question mark. We're not getting anything. And so often what we have to do is check it. And sometimes you can see it almost wanted to connect there for a second. But you go to Settings and Inputs, and that's how you view all your inputs. So this has it here. It says we're not getting any signal. And that's often not too uncommon that when you first open it up, you're not going to get a signal. There's a few things you can do to check it. Everything looked pretty good from the other end, so you can just try to unplug and replug the Thunderbolt cable in again and see if that does the trick. Or you might need to close Pro Presenter and reopen it. All right, well that took a while, but I finally got it working. So I tried a bunch of different things to see if some of the equipment wasn't working, and the first thing I found is that I had unplugged again the HDMI extender over there, and that wasn't plugged in, so that was the initial issue. And then in fiddling with the cables, something with the computer got messed up, and even tried making sure it wasn't the recorder that wasn't working right or the Thunderbolt cable, and you tried a bunch of different things to troubleshoot it. And I finally just restarted the computer, and it was working again. So as you can see, that happening during this video gives me a chance to say there's a lot of moving parts. And with this system, there's going to be some Sundays where you might have to troubleshoot a little bit, whether it's just restarting the computer or checking all your connections and making sure that everything's working. But we're here back at the MacBook, and open it up here to Pro Presenter, and you can see now the input is working. Everything is connected. We have our Ultra Studio recorder connected to our MacBook, and you can see here on the screen that we have an input coming in. And to edit this input in Pro Presenter, you go to Settings, Inputs, and you can see here now we have our device selected, our Ultra Studio Recorder 3G, and our audio, we have selected video embedded. You can see we have audio coming in. Occasionally, when you open Pro Presenter, you might have to troubleshoot a few things. Like I've had it several times where I'll have video but no audio, and a lot of times the solution to that is just closing Pro Presenter, Command Q, and then reopening it, and I have audio. So now you can see that our Ultra Studio recorder has converted our video into an input. So now we have it in Pro Presenter, and we're ready to output it so that people can see it on our big screen that we have in here. To do so, you can see that we have this little guy here. This is an Anchor USB-C hub, and there's a few things connected in here. And the main thing we want to talk about first for video is our HDMI cable that's running to our projector. So you just plug that in, and then you plug this into the second USB-C port. And now we have our output. And then we also have audio, which is coming through this little audio device, which gets a little bit better quality than just the jack you have in the computer. And so that is just plugged into the USB, like so. And so now everything is connected into our computer. And so we're going to now turn on our projector using this remote, and we'll see if it's working. So I'm over here now at our projector. It's powered on, and you can see it's all working as it should. Our HDMI cable just runs here and plugs in on the back. There's a power button on here you can use, or there's one on the remote. Also, there's a kind of screen here that I often close when I'm done, and so sometimes you have to open that up. And so it goes onto the screen, and so our video looks pretty good, and that's working, which is always a good thing. And so now we need to set up our audio. So we're back here in kind of this tight corner here behind our PA system, and you can see all the cables running here. You have the power cable that runs to our power strip down here, and you have the speaker cable which runs to the other speaker over there. And then we have this 1/4-inch cable which plugs into the aux in on input 5/6 on the left. And so it's right here. And so to turn this on, you just simply hit the power switch. And then normally the mains will be turned down all the way, and you usually want to turn them down when you shut it off. And so then we'll just bump that up. We'll check our audio on our computer to make sure it's on, and then we'll just make sure people can hear okay without it being too loud. It's a little echoey in here, as you can hear in this video, I'm sure, but we'll just make sure audio levels are good for those who are listening. So that is our basic setup that we have going on here. I know, as you saw, there's a lot of moving parts. There's several issues that you may need to troubleshoot, but really the system is fairly straightforward, as we just have an output being sent from Livestream Studio through HDMI, yes, through a bunch of different adapters and extenders, and coming into Pro Presenter 7 in our MacBook that we have out here, which is then being sent to the projector and the PA system so people can see and hear it. Again, I hope you found this video helpful to you as you think about what is going on in here. And in another video, we'll talk about the other thing we have going on in here, which is our video feed of what's happening in this gym that's being sent via Wi-Fi to our auditorium so that it can be shown on a monitor, and we could even share prayer requests from here in our main service. So stay tuned for the next video where we talk about that system.